Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bookish Artist Mandy, and I'm coming at you today with a flip through and talk about 30 Inks 30 days. So this one I'm going to try to make as short as possible, but if you've been around a while, you know my short videos are not short. So here I am, I'm going to go through everything, the ups, downs, and how 30 Inks 30 days went for me. So grab your drink, grab a snack, and sit back and let's look through this. First, I want to talk about the notebook. The notebook I decided to go with was the Nolte. It's a log per page format, 167 or 176 numbered pages. It is not, I don't think, unless I'm incorrect, and so somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think this is 52 GSM, but it is thin. It's coated and it's a little bit different than Tomoe River paper, but it's got the 3.5 millimeter grid. As you can see here, this is not from 30 Inks 30 days. This was my first day. I got this in August and I thought, you know what, let's really give this paper a shot because it is still thin. It does have that crinkle, but it's got more of a coating of like Kokuyo paper, I would say. So this is the format of each page. I was practicing with my stub nibs on this page, so here we go. The paper was pretty okay. Like I wouldn't say this is my favorite paper, but it is still in the realms of I like it. I like it just like I like Kokuyo or what's the other one? I'm thinking of Numosin. So it's got kind of that same feel. Sometimes I really like it, and sometimes some of my pens just don't like the paper because sometimes it's too smooth. But it's a good paper, and it's really nice to have this format where you have this writing section where you can have the date and the subject on every page. And this is how each page is formatted, so you don't have any changes that way. So 30 Inks 30 days, this was my first time fully completing it. And I started out just doing lettering, and then I did September. And September was one of my first drawing challenges I did a few years back. And it's hosted by Evie Benita. And so I really wanted to hark back to that, but I wanted to focus on my ink drawings just to see how I improved. And by the end of the month, it was just too much. I was having a hard time doing all of it, so I just decided to finish off the month with 30 Inks 30 days because I wanted to finish strong, but it was too much to do both. So this month, moving into October, the month I will be doing Inktober, and I am sticking with one color, which is black, because I just like the way that that looks, and I'm sticking with my one sketchbook for Inktober. So be on the lookout for those videos. I'm going to try to post them. I'm trying to decide right now. I have just a little bit of time left. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do 1 and 2 day or 1 day a video or every other day and kind of do that. We'll see what I do. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm very excited to be doing Inktober, and I will talk about that in those videos. But I'm continuing on with a monthly challenge because monthly challenges really work for me. Okay, so let's start talking about the pens. Here's the format, like I mentioned, and I did decide after about, gosh, how many days? I did decide after a few days that I was going to switch to the 1 page instead of the 2 pages because the ink splotch, like any paper this thin, does bleed into the next page, which is normal, and that's pretty much any notebook. So we're going to talk about this, and I will say if I don't have the pen inked anymore, and I'll talk about why I don't have the pen inked anymore, and I'll pull it out if I do. Okay, so here we go. First day was Diamine Frosted Orchid. I loved this ink. I love this pen. This is my Asvine V200, and as you can see, I did about half a fill, and it's still going. I have used this pen throughout the month. I love this shimmer. It is, I don't know if it's a silver shimmer or if it's purple. I think it's silver, but because of the ink, it kind of dyes it. So you can see that. I don't know, and if somebody does know, if there is this color underneath, just the solid color of the Frosted Orchid. I would love to just have it standard rather than the shimmer, but I loved this. I have been using this, and I will continue to keep this one inked until it's gone. This is an Asvine V200. I have a fine nib in it right now, which is basically like a Western medium. And it is just flowing so nice. I could switch it to a medium to make it more of that broad nib, but I'm really enjoying it with this one, and I just love this pen so much. It is a $50 pen, and it is just a workhorse, and it's the only vac fill that I really care for. Like I like the Asvine vac fills. That's about it. I don't like any of the other ones that I have come across, and I am able to even take this part off and fill it if I really want to. So that's one of my favorite things about this one, is that I'm able to take this off right here and fill it right here, which sometimes I do just because I really hate the way vac fillers are filled. To be perfectly honest, I absolutely hate it. So sometimes I just take a syringe and shot it in there. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. This one is a nice one. I don't like my narwhal vac fills. I have 2 of them I want to get rid of, and I don't like my TWSBI kyanite vac fill. So those are ones that I will be passing on. All right, moving on to this one. Now this pen is my TWSBI Diamond 580 in the Iris, and this is Van Diemen's Moon Jellyfish. And I just want to pull this in. It has this pink shimmer. I want a full bottle of this yesterday. I am waiting to find a good place that I want to order from in stock. However, I want to say that I have noticed, because I've done a few Van Diemen's inks this month, especially the shimmers, they are clog machines. And I had the hardest time on this page with my Iris. I loved the color, so I actually moved it into my Benu Pixie. And what nib is this? This is a broad nib, and so this is working. I will show you. It's working much better, and this is just right off the bat. It pulls out. I love this pink, and I want this pink without the shimmer. Again, like without the shimmer, just because sometimes I like both. I like to have the shimmer and the standard. So I'm finding that a lot of times I'm reaching for the standards more than I am shimmers anymore. So that's an interesting thing. So that's the first 2 days. And you can see, I'm not going to go into the September. I will tell you how I formatted it on each page. I did my drawing, which had a prompt. And by the end, I was kind of making up my own prompts because I was having a really hard time with the more, the more vague or weird prompts. I wanted to just do an animal, so I went more that way, and then I would go online and find just some interesting text, an interesting fact, and transcribe it so I could play with and see how the pen worked with some handwriting. So that's the first 2 days. The next day was my Kensington pocket, which is right here, but it is empty right now. Kensington pocket with a medium nib. I did take the nib out. I want to put a different ink in here, so that's why it's emptied right now. And I loved this Kobe Mungangwa. I did not say that any way right, any shape or form, so please make fun of my pronunciation because I'm terrible. And it's purple pink. And I loved this ink, but it's very, very similar to Sailor Shikiori's Nadeshiko. So if you have Nadeshiko is just slightly darker and slightly more purple, where this one shades lovely into a pink purple. And I did end up putting this one, I took all the rest of this ink, and you can see, I'll pull it out. So there's not much left. There is just a little bit. I took it out in a syringe and put it in this Hongdian M2 because I wanted to move that, my Kensington, I wanted to move it into a different color because this does not feel October to me. So I just want to finish that off. I will probably use it for morning pages here in the next couple days and then finish that off. But I want to use this pen for October. I will be doing a special video here in the next couple days on pink inks and why I wanted to switch this. But I just love this pen. This is their pink Ghost. I love their Ghost, but I also have discovered I love their matte finish. I think I am going to start having all of my pens from Myers Pen Co. in matte finish. And this pen was a dream to write with. I just filmed a video about Pixies being my favorite pocket pen, but I don't know, sometimes I haven't played with this one enough to say that this could outbeat it. It is a little bit bigger, but this one, when it is posted, this pen is a full-size pen and it is super comfortable. The only thing that I like more about my Pixie is that I don't have to twist and then twist this back on. I want to beg Alan over at Myers Pen to do something like this where we could have like a Mia Petite pocket, and then the Mia Petite has such a great posting system. I would love that. So I'm going to continue to poke at him. I know he's very busy, so I've been trying to not bother Alan as much, but that's one of the things that I really want to bother because he's got so many orders right now. It's really awesome. I'm really proud of him. All right. The next one I actually did in a Benu Pixie, and that is this one. And this is my Enchanted Pastel Peach. And as you can see, if I pull this out, I have refilled this 3 times, and this is where it's currently at. This is one of my favorite ink and pen pairings of the month. I am almost out of my sample, and I want a bottle of this autumn morning. Vanessa's sold out. Atlas doesn't carry it, so I've been kind of waiting to find it, but I love this ink. It is a bright orange with this beautiful gold shimmer. It is perfect for the season, and it reminds me of autumn mornings. It makes me feel like I am looking, I don't know why, but this is what it does. It makes me feel like I'm looking out my window and I am drinking a cup of coffee, watching the leaves. I don't know why that's what this ink does for me, but that is what this ink does for me. And it is just, it is lovely. So I will continue to fill this until my bottle is empty, and then hope and send up all my positive vibes that I can get a full bottle, because I think that this color is so close to this that it's got to be a permanent pairing, right? I'm at the point in my life where I can have permanent pairings or semi-permanent, because I will eventually get bored and have to switch. But right now I am loving it and it makes me so happy. So there's that one. Okay, my next one is my Mayfair Noldor in Cold Brew. I'm really trying to give this pen a shot, and actually I quite loved the pairing, and I haven't used it for a few days, and as you can see, this Ferris Wheel Press Citrine Mirage is a really pretty color with a really nice shimmer. I can't really describe what the color is, but I thought it looked really great in my Noldor. It's kind of like a brownish yellow, similar to something like Inaho or, gosh, I can't think of any other colors because Inaho is usually the one that's everybody loves. But it's or like the Oyster Hour, but darker than Oyster Hour. It is a really nice ink, and I am really, really impressed with it. I also really love, this is probably my favorite drawing I did for all of the drawings that I did. I only did 20, so that one's definitely my favorite. Okay, this pen I have inked up, or I have cleaned out and put away. I ended up finding that this Tono and Limbs Hokkaido, I was really meh about. It's a really pretty purple, pink fuchsia that has this beautiful haloing of dark purple, but then gets really light. It reminds me of quite a few other colors that I can think of, and I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but like Solferino, but softer. And I didn't love it for some reason in my medium Walton Watts Slim with the Yovo nib. However, I ended up, just because I didn't want to waste the ink, I ended up moving it into my Pilot Vanishing Point with a fine nib, my white one. And I ended up using it all, and I love it. So now it's kind of, oh man, I feel like some of these inks, when I did these pages, and this is definitely one that I'm feeling that when I did the pages, I wasn't loving. But after I took them out, then I loved them. So yeah, this one, sadly, I just didn't love with this pen. So I'm finding that the pen and ink pairings do matter. So I did love it with the Vanishing Point, but I ended up writing that one dry. So I put a different ink in my Vanishing Point. But I think I'm going to come back to this probably later. I do have still like half a sample left, so I will probably come back to it in January or February, because this is just not, I think I'm not feeling this color, partially because it's not fall to me. So that's the big thing too with it. But yeah, so I don't have the pens because they're both clean, and one has a different ink in it completely. But I did enjoy the ink after this, but it just wasn't in this, which is really, really fascinating to me. I'm still finding this fascinating. Maybe this will help. So this is the same ink on Leuchtturm paper. This is my little Leuchtturm B6. This is where I just do lots of sketches and notes. But this is when I switched it into my Vanishing Point. And in a fine nib in my Vanishing Point, it is a really different color. Like, if you can see, I want to compare. This is the same ink. Same ink. So the paper and the pen and all of that does matter. This ink is, I loved it like this. It's so soft and almost pink, but it's a purple with that's leaning very, very pink. And I love that. That's like, it's a little darker than normal roses, where here it doesn't look the same. It looks very much so more almost into that fuchsia category, where here it's like, it's still fuchsia, but very muted. So I think that's where this especially this medium nib that I got with my Watts is a gusher. It is a gusher, and it lays down a lot of ink, where when you have your fine nibbed Vanishing Point, it lays down a lot less, and the line widths are really so much smaller. You can see even here in my lettering how different the lettering is. So that stuff, I'm learning more and more, does matter, because the ink properties will change. And sometimes I love it when it lays down a whole bunch of ink, and sometimes I don't. I never knew that about myself. Okay, day 7 was another star stunner. It has made me love this pen. So this is my long blade Hound N23. So this was the Year of the Rabbit pen, and I love this pen so much. It was a gift from my sister, and it's the long blade. It is just a beautiful pen, especially for the price and the bang for your buck. It is a comfortable pen. I love the engraved nib. I love this pen, and the long blade was something I was meh on, so I'd been really bummed, but for some reason, this ink, Wearing Ghoul Captain Hook, made me love this pen, made me love this ink. This was one that I got from a trade with the lovely My Magical Planner, and I ended up loving it so much. I refilled this 3 times already, because I've been using it all the time to doodle, to write, everything. I love this. This is such a wet flowing nib. I just want to show you how wet and flowing it is. And this color, this red, there's something about it. I ended up buying a full bottle from Atlas just last week, and it's here, and I'm happy because I love this color. This color I think is going to be permanently inked in this pen through December, because I think this is my red. This is my favorite red, like, that I have found ever. So I am going to have this for October, November, and December, because I think this is perfect. My perfect red for all of my palettes. And so this one, you won't see in any of my currently inked, because it is just going to be inked. But yeah, this is where you saw it. It's exciting. Maybe I'll do it for my October currently inked, actually. Now I'm thinking that I should have it for at least one. But yeah, favorite of the month. This one and this one so far. Yeah, but love them both so much. It's very surprising that my Hound was one of my favorite pens. Actually, it isn't, but with as many pens as I've gotten that are at such a higher price point, this one does surprise me. I need to try this ink in a different pen. This ink reminds me of if Sailor Urameku, Kitsune Biori didn't have a pink tone to it, you would have Colorverse Chesapeake Bay. And this is a lovely color. However, I have decided, even with switching out the nib sections to be a medium Yovo, I just don't love noveler pens. And I think that this pen, it is a beautiful pen, and I think that it's put away for right now. It's actually put away in my sell pile. I think it needs a different home. I don't think it's for me. I don't know what it is. I can't describe. I think it's just the whole section holding the pen is just too big, and I don't love the experience. And this was the only time I ended up using it, was just for this page. And by the end of the page, I said, yep, I'm done. I'm gonna empty this out and pass this pen along. I want to re-explore this ink eventually, but at least for there, I let it go. So just for that one. All right, my next one is my Kaweco Student, which is this one, the 60s Swing, that has still remained to be a favorite pen of mine this year. And I used Diamond Inkvent Pine Needle from 2024. I like this ink. It's fun, it's festive, but it's when it shades, this is like a chameleon shader, or chameleon shimmer. Blah, 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 can't talk. It has two different colors shimmer. It's beautiful. Nothing wrong with it. It just felt too happy and not dull enough, or not autumn enough for me to keep in the pen. So I enjoyed this, and it wasn't the ink. There's nothing wrong with the ink. It's just that this is not the season. So I can't wait until, I think, spring. This is a very spring green to me. It's not even a pine needle green to me. It just feels very spring. So I'll come back to it when I am ready for that. So yeah, I'm very excited that I got to play with this, and I do have another ink in this, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, for the Student, I don't have much to say about the Student. The Student is just a wonderful pen. It handled the shimmer great. At first it was kind of iffy, but then it decided it was like, yeah, I'll handle this shimmer. So I love my Kaweco Student. I don't have much more to say about it. I gush about it pretty much every time I put it on camera. So yeah, love this pen. Okay, Jinhao 10 in Gradient Coffee. It's actually empty. So there's not even a nib unit in here because I'm cleaning out the nib unit right now. But I love this Jinhao. This is one of my favorites. Just, I love the colors of it. So there's the Jinhao part of it. And let's talk about the ink, which is Kobe's Bitter Chocolate. And this was, of the three chocolates, so strawberry, milk, and bitter, it was the only one that I bought just a sample of rather than the bottle. And I'm really glad I did, because this is a brown. It reminds me of Yamaguri, which I have an entire bottle of, and I just don't like it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a very standard, beautiful brown. It is very cool tone, so it's almost leaning gray, and it's pretty. There's nothing wrong with this gray, or with this brown. See, you can see that it's got some beautiful shading. It's just not for me, because I like color, let's be real, okay? And I like more shading. It's very blasé, which is really interesting when you have such beautiful colors in the rest of the line with strawberry and milk chocolate, that this one is kind of blah. And I also think that because I had Kobe's Old Settlement brown, or coffee brown, in my Affogato Twisby already, and I love that brown, but this one just kind of didn't shine as much. So there's that one. Nothing wrong with the pen. I love that Jinhao. I usually have it inked up. I just am kind of transitioning through my pens and trying to decide which ones I want inked up for October, and it just didn't make the cut for October. So yeah, nothing wrong with it. Just not my cup. Just because this is such a satisfying sound, I want you to hear it. Just love it. So this paper does have that nice crinkle. Okay, so this is my next one, and this was my Kaweco All Sport Hello Kitty in the colorway pink. I have the lilac or the lavender, whatever color it is. it's just that this one was closer, so I just put Taranishi's Salon de Violet in here. It didn't match, and I didn't care. I love this ink. I am still trying to decide which pen I want it in, so I moved it from this to this pen, my Edison Collier pen, because I really do like this pen. And I still don't know if this is the pen I want it in, because I think I want a different ink in this pen because this ink's nib is so good. And Taranishi inks, I just did a video on just last week because I love them so much. Love them. And this is one that is just a stunner, and it has such beautiful deep colors. These purples are not from Taranishi's Salon de Violet, but it's so nice. It's just a nice color. It is really similar, and you'll see that later. It is really similar to Wear & Ghoul's Persephone, if Persephone didn't have shimmer. So this is very close to that color. So if you have Persephone and you like the shimmer, it's a great dupe, or you want one without the shimmer, this is a great dupe. You know, vice versa. They are pretty much the same color. So, but I did enjoy this. I am liking my aluminum All Sports a little bit more every day. It just depends on the day, but I love my Hello Kitty ones. I have all 3 of the colors, and they will not leave my collection ever because I just love them. So they're ones that I like to, I don't know, I like to keep in my house at the same time because they were very expensive, but they were like some of my biggest splurges at the time. I have since made bigger splurges, but I do like them quite a bit. So yeah, this was great. Great pairing. I had a lot of fun with these letters. I'm really playing around with letters and trying to find more lettering for my journals. So yeah, this was just a great page. All right, the next one is my Hogtown Swansea in Valley Girl, and it had a broad Esterbrook nib when I did this page. This is Kitty Inkpot's The Lost Rose. This color is so cool. Oh, I love it. And it is so cool, especially in a broad nib, because it has all these different colors in it. Like there's this, you can see this reddish orange, and it's a pink, but it's got all that depth. And you can see all the colors in the shading, in the lettering. And I just love that. So it's really similar to my other roses, but not a single one of my roses has this color, this like reddish in it. I love Kitty Inkpot inks. If I didn't have to wait almost a month every time I order one, I'd probably order them faster. But I have 2 bottles, and then I had tried 1 sample. So I'm very picky on which ones. I have this bottle, and then I have Fluffy Wool Ball. These are ones that I probably wouldn't trade out just because they are so expensive and they are hard to get. I probably will keep my bottles for myself, but I do enjoy them. But I wanted to talk about this pen. This is a Yovo housing, and I have figured out how to put my Schmidt nibs in there. I didn't think I could pull my Schmidt nibs out of their housing, and I had a couple extra broad Yovo or Schmidt nibs because I have so many Schmidt nibs that I have purchased to play around and move my nibs around, and I pulled one out, and the feed from the Schmidt nibs don't fit in here, but the nib does. And so now I have a Schmidt nib, and I am so excited because Schmidt nibs are my absolute favorite steel nib. I now no longer really want Yovo nibs. I mean, I'll still use them, but yeah, very excited about this pen. This ink, I think, is pretty much empty. Yeah, it is empty. It is on its last limb. This was a full fill too. I filled this whole pen. So that is another one that was a favorite. I love this pen. This is Hogtown Swansea. I waited 6 months for this pen. I put in a request in January or February for this pen and didn't get it until I think June. So this pen is a great pen. I love this blank. Shauna over at Serial Nada had this blank in a different pen from a different company, and I decided I wanted to try out Hogtown, and I am yeah, I can't. This pen is pretty much always inked, and I love it. I do think I'm going to give it a rest for this month. I'm going to clean it out now that this is empty, and I'm going to move on. But I really like that I found a Schmidt nib that will go in. I can do it. I'm trying to stop myself from taking all my extra Schmidt nibs and putting them in the Yovo housing, but very excited. So yeah, that one's a really great writer. And this color is so much fun. Just love it. And since I am here on this page, I do want to talk about this one. I love Dusty Rose. Conklin Dusty Rose is a very wet, good flowing ink. And you'll see again, I have my Twisby Diamond 580 in Iris. And I had emptied out the Moon Jellyfish and moved it over to my Benu. And then I tried it again. This just had a lot of shimmer in it. So I ended up not wanting it because I didn't want the shimmer, and I had only put just a little bit of ink. I barely filled it past, what do you call it? Here, I have a diamond. I barely filled it past that little section here. And this is the mini. I need to clean that out too. These are all my cleaning pens, but there's like that little section where right here that you can see, this little section right there, I filled it to that, and that's it. And so I didn't have that much. I just wanted to try to compare Dusty Rose to the Lost Rose. And so I used a pen that I know I love, and I had too much shimmer because the residue of the shimmer, I really need to pull my iris apart and clean it out because I had two different shimmer inks, and so it's all different colors of shimmer. And it's time for it to get a nice deep bath. And now we're moving into, the rest of them are all 1 page per book, because you can see this was just happening on every page, and I just wanted to enjoy my swatches without having to worry about coloring over them or having it bleed over, because like all of that is actually from this. It's interesting what it pulls out on the other side of the page. But yeah, I just didn't want to deal with that anymore because I was coming up with covering up the ink swatches, and sometimes the colors were, where was it? Like right here, you're getting orange right here, which is really interesting, but I want the colors, and right here especially, I want the color of the swatch to actually be the color. So that is what happened. Now here is Persephone, and like I said, it's very similar to Salon de Violet. This one is a fine nib, and it's a dry fine nib, so it's gonna be a little bit different, but this one is my Benu Tessera medium in the colorway Tanzanite. I am loving this. It is still inked up with the Wearing Ghouls Persephone, and I'm really enjoying this. And so there isn't that much left in this pen, but I'm going to finish it off, and then I'm going to clean it out. And I think I want something purple in here again for Halloween, but I'm thinking I'm going to put Frankenstein in it, because Frankenstein, 'tis the season, and there's a new Frankenstein movie coming out by Guillermo del Toro, which is a favorite. So yeah, I loved this. I went with trying to play with that lettering as ghosts, and I really like how it turned out. I'm still playing around with lettering. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, there's my Tessera. I love this pen so much, by the way. I want to keep mentioning it. This is one of Benu's new models, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with their new models. They have a couple more coming out that I have my eye on, but this one, so lovely. I love this model. It's very similar in size to, say, the Daily Mate, but this is so pretty, and just, it's matte, so I don't notice this feeling of this. I really like this pen. I usually have sensory issues when it comes to stuff like that, but I actually like sitting and doing this, which is a lot of fun to like play with that while I'm just sitting and like trying to focus. But I also don't notice it when I'm writing with it, and I can write pages with this. So I love this pen. Love this pen. It's so pretty. I'm considering another colorway, but I don't need to have another one. But yes, I highly recommend one of these if you are looking into them. All right, so this next one is my Wearing Ghoul Peter Pan. in the Kakamori Frost with a fine tip nib. And that is right here. Oh no, that is not my Kakamori Frost. Never mind. I think I already cleaned it out and put it away. Because I was finding, for some reason, and I don't know what it is, I was getting a lot of fatigue right here in my hand when I was holding it. And I'm finding that some slim pens are starting to do that. And I don't know if it's the pens, if it's something going on with my muscles and my joints, but I'm not sure. I don't get that with my thicker pens. Like I don't get that with my Benus. I don't get that with my, any of my Myers pens. But for some reason, this Kakamori Frost, I was getting it. And the Kakamori Frost does have a Schmidt nib. I love it. So that is where I was saying earlier, I ended up liking Peter Pan more for this season than I did the Pine Needle. So I ended up cleaning out that pen and swapping this color into the Kaweco. So the Kaweco now has this because I love this pen. I'm loving this ink. It is really cool. It's a chromo shader. So you can see there's this nice soft green. It is really pretty and I was really enjoying playing around with it. So yeah, I am a big fan of this color. I don't know if I'm going to need a full bottle of it, but I am definitely going to be using my full ink sample vial because I really like it a lot. All right, this is another one where it was a bust, and that's okay because this is really good. I have given this Esterbrook Junior in the Twinkle so many tries because it is such a pretty pen. I don't have it because I cleaned it out, and it is the first one that I am going to let go and let somebody else have. It's just not a comfortable pen for me. It has a wonderful nib. The nib is great. As you can see, it writes like there are no skipping and everything. It writes really well. Diamine Tundra is a very pretty gray, and I enjoyed doing this page, but it hurt so much down this thing, and I had done these because if you look at the date, September 16th, I did day 15 and 16 together, back to back. And so it was just like, oh, this is painful. So I finished this page and said, yep, this pen has got to go. I have now inked it up 3 or 4 times since I got it. And it's just a bummer because it's such a pretty pen. But I know that there's somebody's hand out there that is much more suited, and it is such a well taken care of baby of mine as a pen because it was like my Cinderella pen, but it's alas is not comfortable for my hand. So yeah, I have a tiny little stash along with my Nautilus that I'm going to be letting go where they can find homes that will be the better for them. And so yeah, but I did like the color a lot, and so I want to revisit Tundra at some point soon. It's very pretty. It's a very, very pretty gray. So, yeah. All right, day 17 was my Platinum 3776 in Sands of Komodo. And I am so sad at myself that I spent so much time feeling guilty over this pen because it is an expensive pen. It was over $300. It's one of my most expensive pens, and it's one of my favorite. And I felt so guilty and shameful about it for so long, and I do not anymore, which is wonderful because this is Tono and Limbs Afternoon Tea. And I loved this ink so much that I ended up writing it dry. So you'll see later. So I'm not going to, try to show you how great it writes. This is a 14 karat rose gold nib. It is beautiful. It's got that beautiful little heart in the nib. I don't have any more Platinum 3776s. I did think about getting one during the Atlas sale where they were $160, but I decided not to because I wanted to give this one more love. It's a medium. And I really enjoyed this Tono and Limbs Afternoon Tea. It is a great green, and I wrote it dry, and this pen I re-inked with a different color. So yeah, that was great. And I, of course, was loving that I drew an axolotl for that day and just loved writing with this. I loved writing with this. I think I used this pen for my morning pages twice in that same week. So yeah, Tono and Limbs Afternoon Tea is a great color. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to buy a full bottle rather than just going with a sample, because I got this from Van Ness. in this sample, and I really am loving it, but I also want to put it up against J. Urban's Ferret Cactus, which I got a full bottle of this summer. So I am finding that doing this is really helping me decide these things. And because I did Tono and Limbs afternoon tea, I decided the next one I was going to do Sailor Tea Time afternoon tea, because I find it so funny that they are so different and they're both afternoon tea. So this one was in my Jinhao 10. I have used this color so much, and I love my Jinhao 10s. They don't have much more to say about this. This orange is very lovely. I don't know what it is about this orange that I love so much, but I do. I saw this when Micah Oatley had first bought her bottle of it, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful orange. And so I went and bought it, and I'm loving it. And since I got it, I think I got it a couple months ago. Since I've gotten it, it's inked up quite a bit. So this is the first time that I've used it, but I wanted it in my, I really just wanted to have the two afternoon teas next to each other because it makes me giggle. That's really why. All right, here is another one that is a weird phenomena, because when I did this page, I wasn't really loving this ink, and now I'm really enjoying it. So it is in my Nagasawa Decimo, Vanishing Point Decimo, that is in the colorway Harbor Mint, which is funny because I haven't actually tried Harbor Mint by Kobe, but I will eventually. This is Moss Park Green by Ferris Wheel Press. Another one that I didn't love the experience this day and writing on this paper. And I want to see if I did do any doodling with it in my other book. I know I've written with it. I know I like it, but let me see if I did draw with it in my book. Here's a drawing with my Tono and Limbs afternoon tea. Yeah, I really like that color so much. Oh, but let's see here. And if not, I will. Oh, there's Peter Pan. See, Peter Pan, you can see in the eyes, especially there's that beautiful shading in brown. I really am loving this ink. Okay. Let's see, more of the Tono and Limbs afternoon tea. There isn't. So I'm just gonna write quick. Ferris Wheel Press. I'll probably come back and doodle in here later. Moss Park Green. And this is when I thought, oh, maybe I do like this ink, because I didn't love it here, but then I did love it here. You can see more of the shading on here, and it is a lot more subdued. And I think I was just not loving the flow of it when I first got it into my Decimo, but now I'm really loving it. The color is very different. So yeah, I haven't decided if it's one that I really love enough to keep the bottle, because I do have a full bottle of it. But yeah, and I love this pen. I love my Decimos. I might be going a little Decimo crazy right now, and I'm trying to stop myself from getting any more because I do not need them. I had a little bit of credit and I got a couple, but yes, this one was a splurge of mine back when Vanessa said they had one in every nib size, and I got my broad. I was so excited because I love this gold trim. I don't love the silver trim with the Harbor Mint just because of this like brownish up here, but I love the gold trim. It's my only gold trim Decimo, and I am obsessed. So there's that one. All right, this is my last doodle, and then it just goes to the ink. So you won't see any more doodles, but I used my Northern Gold Benu Talisman, and I have been organizing and cleaning out my inks and discovered I have 4 full bottles of Ferris Wheel Press Queen and Castle because I decided to buy all the bottles on a sale that Ferris Wheel Press had on their website when they announced that they were discontinuing this. Why? I thought I needed 4 bottles of an ink I had never even tried. I will not understand. Past Mandy is shaking her, or I am shaking my head at Past Mandy. But I put it in this pen, and I do like it. I like it enough that I'm glad I have a full bottle. Do I like it enough that I have 4 bottles? not so much. So it's one that I'm probably going to have to figure out what to do with these other 3 bottles because I don't need them. So send me a message if you're looking for Queen and Castle and can't find it anywhere. I'd probably cut a great deal because I don't need 4 bottles of it. They are unopened. They're sitting. Yeah. I'm just shaking my head. But again, this one is one of my newer pens. It is a fine nib. It is the gold plated. This was my, I must have it for my Jurassic World, Jurassic Park loving son. He has claimed this pen as his own. So I try to keep a color that's close to amber in it. And he will sit, he's learning how to use fountain pens. He will sit and use this pen quite often. So yeah, I really love this pen. This is, this is one of the Talismans. And yeah, just, Benu, you have my heart. They know it too. They know they have my heart. So I will continue to love their pens. All right, this is my Opus 88 Coloro. As I'm cleaning these out, this is the amber yellow. As I'm cleaning out all of my stuff and trying to organize, I remembered I had these. I have 2 of them. I have the yellow and I have the red. And this is with Rohrer and Klingner's Ink of the Year 2025, which is Sea Buckthorn. I fell in love with Blue-Eyed Mary from last year. So when I saw that Vanessa had this one in stock, I didn't even look at the color. I said add to cart. So because I know that Blue-Eyed Mary ended up getting really hard for me to find. The only thing with this, and I'm going to clean this out, the only thing with this is I know I had a shimmer in this last, and there is shimmer all over this page because of it. So I have a shimmering Sea Buckthorn, even though it's a standard, and so I'm cleaning this one out. I didn't put that much ink in it. There is literally no ink left in it because I didn't put this one, but I do love this pen, and I'm so mad that it's sat for who knows how long, because I do not remember when I last used it. But I definitely think I want to pull this pen out for this season because the nib is wonderful. The pen writes just fabulously. It is a nice size. I like my Opus 88s. I just have 2. I don't like my minis, and so those are ones that I'm probably going to let go of here soon. But I just have 2 of the Coloros. I don't need any more. I'm happy with what I have. I even think I might let go of the red because it's an extra fine, but I do love this medium Coloro. So, and I am very happy. I'm not going to get 3 bottles of this because I do have 3 extra bottles of Blue-Eyed Mary because I love that color. That's one of my favorite inks of all time. So I purposely sought out the bottles, but this one I like that I have paired it, or I've placed it next to other oranges. This orange is just, I don't know, there's something so nice about it. It's darker than the yellow that Pilot Iroshizuku came out with, the Toro, like it's that same brightness and vibrancy, and it's darker than Yuyake and lighter than Fuyugaki, which are all Pilot Iroshizuku inks. I don't have a lot of oranges, and that's one thing that when I did this, I discovered I don't have a lot of oranges, but this one, if you can see in here, it's got this beautiful shading that's very neon, but then it's subtle and it's very pretty. And I did start writing about how I felt about them. And so, yeah, this is nice. That's what I did instead of doing the September. I just started writing about this. So it's kind of fun. Another limited edition, but you don't need 3 bottles, which is exactly what I said. I will be happy with the 1 bottle. It is very nice. So if you like these Rohrer and Klingner standard inks, I do love Rohrer and Klingner inks. And you like orange, this one is not a bad one. This one is one that, because it will be gone in a couple months, I would pick up because it's worth it. It's $12 for the bottle. 12 or 13, not anything crazy. And this is a really good, legible, beautiful orange, especially for this season. So yeah, that's one that I'm happy I have a bottle of, but I am going to refrain from buying 500. Okay, the next one is my Pilot Capless, which has the alloy nib. So I ended up buying a couple. That's why I said I went Vanishing Point crazy is because I bought a couple of these. I need to take the sticker off because it's not that nib anymore. but I haven't taken these stickers off. I don't know why. But this is Pilot Capless with the alloy nib. It was, but I ended up getting a black stub nib because I wanted to try this stub. I saw that they are discontinuing the alloy nibs, and so I wanted to try them out, so I got a couple. I have 2 now, and because they're under, I got them for $60 each, and so I thought that is definitely a price worth it. And then I got this this nib unit, so I put this in, and then now I have my alloy nib from this pen in one of my gin house. But this is not Birmingham Pen Co. Bordeaux. I like Bordeaux. There's nothing wrong with it. I just wasn't feeling it. It reminded me a lot of Persephone and Salon de Violet, and this one is a little bit redder, if you can see, but it's just not as pretty to me as the other ones, or it's too similar. So I thought, okay, well, I want to play with my capless, and I got this nib, so I wanted something different. So I did use this up, and I cleaned it, and it's a nice color, legible, but meh. It would make a good darkest, like good black replacement for November. So I thought I'll come back to it, but yeah, I was kind of bummed that I cleaned it out so fast though, because I did want to play with it a little bit more, but I'll revisit it at some point. All right, now I did have this in my Gin How Chrome Stripe, this Wearing Ghoul Hound and the Baskerville, and I ended up moving it to one of my sailors, and it's not next to me, so I will just talk about this ink. The Hound of Baskerville was one of them that I liked so much 2 years ago, and I bought a bottle, and I hadn't used it since. And it is a lovely, dark, deep red that has this beautiful green sheen. And I love to pair it with Wearing Ghoul's Call of the Cthulhu, because the Cthulhu is a green that has a red sheen. And I think they're not the same. They're not the same, like standard red and green, like where I feel like Cthulhu is a little bit more teal, and this one is more maroon and reddish pinky, or just beautiful. I love this, and so I was like, why haven't you used this? You like this ink, and I put it in this, but this chrome one, I think of all the gin house that I have, has a really, really tough time with dry out and hard starts. It's one that I probably am just gonna put away and not use anymore. The striped ones are the ones that I find the most comfortable. Do I have a striped one near me? I'm just trying to look, but I don't think, yes, I do in this. Sorry, I have a couple different places. I'm getting ready to clean up my pens. So these striped ones, this one's really great. This one I usually have, this is my broad Pilot Vanishing Point 18 karat gold nib. I usually have that in this. These ones I find to be, for some reason, I don't know if they're just a little lighter than normal gin house, I find them to be the most comfortable. So I have this one and the chrome one, but the chrome one dries out and hard starts with every single color. And so, I mean, I've even done the silicone trick with it. You're gonna get duds when you have $13 pens. And it was a $13 pen, so I'm not gonna complain, but this one is fantastic. This one I keep my gold nib in because I love this one. This is one of my favorites, and it's so comfortable. But the chrome one, sadly, I think I'm gonna retire, but this one doesn't have this in it. So I moved that, the Hound and the Baskerville, because I really wanted to use it. I moved it to this pen, which is one of my Sailor Pro Greer Slim minis. So you can see it is writing a lot lighter than here, but it is still a lovely color. And so I did want to keep this color at least for the month of October. So that will be in my currently inked, but I really love this color. This is one that I knew I loved, and I wanted to remind myself how much I loved it. Now we're getting into a little bit of a pink exploration for most of the rest of the month of September. And this one was me playing with Yoakura. I put it in my TWSBI, and as you can see, my TWSBI is real full. This is Sailor Shikiori's Yoakura, which is a color I bought a bottle of because everybody raved about it. And then I swatched it and didn't love it. And I thought, let's re-look at this color. And I am loving it. I don't know what has happened, but I am just into the pinky mauves, and this color is fantastic. It is so nice flowing. This is one of my favorite TWSBIs. I've had a lot of different colors in here. I think this looks very great in here. The only thing I will say is that I don't love this, my TWSBIs on this paper. I don't think it's a great writing experience. I think that because the nibs are so smooth and this paper is so smooth, there's not a lot of friction for it to grab onto. So the writing experience on this paper was not great. However, when I've been writing with it in like my Leutsch terms, perfect. So I love this. I love my TWSBIs. I don't think I have to keep saying how much I love my, oops, as I'm dropping things. I don't think I have to keep saying how much I love my TWSBIs, but I do. I love my TWSBIs. All right, this next one is my other Pro Gear Slim Mini in Benny White, and it's got Ostrich Ink's Light Mauve. And as you can see, Light Mauve is very similar to Yoakura. The only thing that I would say is that Yoakura goes to a black gray where it darkens into the, you know, the dark pools. And this one is like a green, which makes it really cool. And I love the way that it looks in a broad nib. I got this ink off AliExpress because Ostrich Inks has AliExpress, has the smaller bottles, the 10 milliliters. So I got this ink in a 10 milliliters, and I will use it, and I can't decide, do I like the light mauve or do I like the Yoakura more? It's kind of one of those things where I don't need both, but I have both. So I'm going to, you know, just keep the little bits that I have, because this one is a smaller 10 milliliter and it will go faster. But I love this color. I am having the time of my life figuring out which one I like the most and exploring them. But I'm really proud of myself for saying, because I thought about getting the full bottle of this light mauve. Not a full bottle, but like a larger bottle, because this is a full bottle. It is a 10 milliliter. It's the smaller bottles, but they have a larger, I think it's like 50 milliliter bottle for, I think, double the price. This was $6 for the 10 milliliters, which is such a good price for Ostrich Inks on AliExpress. It just takes a while to get. And I don't know. It's one of those where I think I actually like Yoakura just slightly more. But they're both really pretty. But I would say that if you have Yoakura and you're not really great at or feeling out like shopping from AliExpress, I'd say stick with Yoakura because they are very similar. All right, the next one was my Leonardo Momento Zero Winter Sunrise, not Sunset, because I always want to call this Winter Sunset. This is the collaboration with Hatch and Karina Loves to Plan with an extra fine nib, which this extra fine feels like some of my bigger ones. Either that or I'm just using too many like Decimos and Pilots. This is Robert Oster's Pink Squirrel. And the reason I wanted to put this in a pen is because I wanted to play with it compared to Day to Night, because I'm working on coming up with the best dupes for Robert Oster's and the Coffee Monsters Co. Day to Night. And I am working on it. There were just a couple other inks I wanted to try, so be looking out for that. That is coming here soon-ish. I just am trying to tweak and decide which ones I want to say, this is great, you know, that kind of thing. But I wanted to play with Pink Squirrel. I have not used my Leonardo Momento Zero pens very often. There's nothing wrong with them. They are super comfortable. I have two, that's it, and they're both Hatch creations. I just don't know why I don't reach for them more. But I also know that I think I'm gonna let one go. I think I am. I have this one right here. This one's inked up as well that I'm cleaning out. And this one is a fine nib, and it is beautiful. It's the Aster. But I like my Winter Sunrise just slightly more. So I think I'm gonna let this one go because I know that there were only so many made, and somebody else will want this more than I do because it really just spends so much time sitting on a shelf. I've had it inked only a few times. It's getting ready to get cleaned out. I have Wearing Gold Jane Eyre in it right now, and it is just, this is actually really nice for Jane Eyre because Jane Eyre can be dry, but it is so wet. And yeah, so that is lovely. I love Jane Eyre so much. Jane Eyre is like one of my top favorite inks. But I do like Pink Squirrel. Pink Squirrel is almost like if Yoakura added a little bit more black, and I am enjoying it. It's really interesting in an extra fine nib. I would like to try it in a broad nib. So I think once I am done with this one, I'll put it in a different pen to try it out. But I do like it. I ended up getting a full bottle because I used up all my sample doing all of my experiments and thought, yeah, I like it enough to have a full bottle. So yeah, there's that one. I told you this pen would come back around. I actually have this Sansa Komodo with a pink ink right now. I had this tiny little sample of Sailor Mano Azuki, and I really wanted to try it out because I've seen swatches online, and I wasn't quite sure what color it was, if it was different enough from the other ones, and if I needed a full bottle or if I can wait. This one is different. If I pull up Yoakura, it is more red toned, and I actually cannot decide which one I like more. And so because I only had like, it was less than 2 milliliters, because I only had 2 milliliters. This is it. This is what I have. So if I really like the experience in this pen, I may go and get a full bottle. But I also am really enjoying Yoakura. So maybe I just stick with Yoakura until Yoakura is gone. Because it does take a while to get through inks. But this is a lovely ink. I think it's kind of in between Yoakura and Kobe's Strawberry Chocolate. And I'm really enjoying it. I definitely, because I just put it in 3 days ago. So I don't have like as much experience with this one, because I did just put it in because I finished afternoon tea and I still wanted to use this pen. I am very excited about playing around with this more, but I enjoyed this ink. All right, the next one is my Pilot Vanishing Point Pilot Namiki Purple Cartridge. It is just the purple cartridge. So when I went to do my beautiful swatches, I literally pulled the cartridge out. That's why the cartridge is half empty. And I just, squirted a little bit on there. This is seriously one of my favorite purples as I'm putting my pen back together. This is one of my favorite purples, and I hadn't played with it in a while because it only comes in a cartridge. Pilot, for the love of all things holy, please make a bottle of this because I want it so bad. I love this color, and I was really happy to reintroduce myself to it because I think it's been since January, March, April, somewhere around there that I've used this color. And it was really fun to get swatches because you can really see all the beautiful shading. I love these Pilot Namiki cartridges, and I know I could, and I probably will if I want it in something that's not a Pilot pen. I could open up the cartridge, use my syringe, blah, 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 but I just want a bottle. I love this color. It is one of my favorite purples ever. And I have done inks, because when I first discovered I loved it, I did do ink explorations with other colors that are very similar. And yes, it is very similar to, like, what is it? Sailor Shikiori Fuji Sagata. It's very similar to Kobe's 56 and 62, but it's not the same. It is not the same. There's something about this color. I can't explain it, but it's got this blue halo, and then in the middle is this beautiful pink, and the pink, yeah, it is such a lovely color. I want a bottle of it, but until then, I will continue to buy the cartridges and hoard the cartridges like a hoarding monster. Maybe I will buy a whole bunch of, like, maybe what I should do is buy like 6 boxes of the cartridges and then just fill a full bottle. Because I know that each cartridge is probably about, I don't know, a milliliter. I have no idea. Actually, I don't know. It's less than a milliliter, but I'd have to buy like 10 boxes to get one bottle, like one small bottle of ink. And am I crazy for considering it? I don't know. Would somebody else consider that too? I feel a little crazy. Just saying. All right, next one is another Benu Pixie. So I used all my Pixies this month. This one didn't show up, but it does have one of the inks in. But I used all my Benu Pixies from my Enchanted Pastel set. I did, if you saw, did get the Magenta Madness set, and I am head over heels for them, loving them. And if you saw my video, I was struggling with the shimmer. They're all writing fantastic now, so I just had a little bit of hard starts with them, and now they're golden. But this color is Tom's Studio Kingfisher, and I didn't do it on this page, but I did do swatches and like writing tests. This is, and you cannot convince me otherwise. I feel like Tom's Studio must get their pens or their inks distributed or manufactured by Diamine. Nobody's come out and said it, but the bottles look just like the shimmer bottles from Tom's Studio and Diamine, which I'm fine with because I love Diamine ink. And most of my Tom's Studios colors that I have gotten are different from Diamine. This is literally Diamine Arctic Blue. And I am so glad that I wasn't sure about it, that I ended up just getting a sample. I'm going to pass the sample along to my friend because I have a full bottle of Arctic Blue, which is one of my favorite blues. Don't get me wrong. It is a little bit more blue, but it's if Rower and Klingner's Blue-Eyed Mary had silver shimmer. And Blue-Eyed Mary is my favorite blue. And this is one of my favorites because I love the shimmer. It gives it just something. It makes me happy. And so I was happy that I had it, but also I already have the full bottle. So I don't need this. I don't need the sample. So I will pass the sample along to my friend. She's very excited. She loves Tom's Studio. And so I'm very happy that I can pass it along, but it is Diamine Arctic Blue. It works fantastic in this pen. I have been writing with it all morning. This morning, I actually wrote my morning pages with it. And so there is nothing left in this ink. So I am just writing it dry, and then I'm going to put another ink in it. And I literally inked it yesterday. So that gives you an idea of how much I'm enjoying this, because I do love this color. So, and also the converters on these Pixies or the Benus, or like the mini, they're the mini Kaweco cart converters. So they don't hold that much ink, but enough that I got to play and discover that it is Diamine Arctic Blue. Prove me wrong. I'd love you to prove me wrong. You're not going to. And last but certainly not least is Pilot Kakuno in a fine nib. That's the pink and the white with the beautiful fun nib. This is Kobe's Strawberry Chocolate. And I had this ink in multiple pens this month. I had it in my purple Vanishing Point, but then this is where I went excited. I got this one. This is one that I've thought about having, and I don't know why it was my third Decimo versus my, well, no, it's actually my fourth Decimo because I got this one, but the standard. This is my third standard Decimo in a medium nib. I finally decided, I had credit, and I finally decided to get it and treat myself because I really wanted one more Decimo. And I wanted it in here, but I had it in my purple one. So I actually I literally, that's why it has the purple cartridge in it. So I took this and put it in here. So you can see this is what's left of it because it was full. It was full when I was using it, and did 30 inks, 30 days with it. So this is Strawberry Chocolate. I am loving it, and I don't know if I'm going to carry it over into the month of, what's the next month? October. I don't know if I'm going to carry it in because let's look at this. There's Yoakura. They are different. This one is far more purple than this one. Okay. Ooh, doop, doop. Ostrich Light Mauve. This one again is more purple than this one. I do also have Lotus Dew, and I want to try Lotus Dew as well by Ostrich. So that might be another one. This one's too dark. And then here's Azuki. If you can see, Azuki and Strawberry Chocolate, very, very close. So if you cannot get your hands on Strawberry Chocolate, Sailor Mano Azuki is a good alternative. However, this one isn't as purple. Like you can look even in the swatches. But again, remember Kobe has made and manufactured their inks Kobe inks are Sailor. So there are going to be similarities, but it is different. It is different, and I do like this one. So if you really want to get it. However, I did discover that there are a couple shimmers that are really similar, and I am going to be doing a video on that coming up here soon as well. This was an accident video just because I've been playing with all my pink inks. Like I had all these inks, so I wanted to try them out. But I started to notice similarities. And so that's why I am on the fence on whether I need a bottle of Azuki or not. I would get another sample, but I don't know who carries Sailor samples that I am personally willing to buy from. So I will say that. But yeah, maybe there is one out there. Is it Pen Chalet? Does Pen Chalet have them? I'm going to have to look that up. But yeah, I would consider getting another sample just because I want to see how I'm loving it after like a couple writes. But yeah, I already want to refill my strawberry chocolate because I really am liking this color, which is so weird to me because it is so not bright pink like I'm used to. Like this is my normal go-to. I will show you the difference. This right here is my normal pink go-to. This is actually more soft and subdued than the pinks that I usually gravitate towards. I usually gravitate towards this. So this to this is very different for me. And I'm just in a different, I think, you know, as I go through phases, I'm just in a different phase right now of liking soft, subdued, almost vintagey colors. And I feel like this is like almost a vintagey pink. And so I really like that because it's got kind of that sepia undertone. And you can see, because it is chocolate, it's got that brown undertone. You can see in the halo here, that's a brown. So it is lovely. And I do see why so many people like it because it is a great, legible, light pink that's vintagey. So yeah, that is that. I also think it would be, oh, why didn't I think of that? I think it would be really great in my Myers Penco, and it may find a home there. I'm thinking about that. Anyway, that is my 30 inks in 30 days. I am gonna go back through. Let's do it one more time because I went through them all. This was a favorite. This color is a favorite. In the pen, not so much. So the pen, not the pen and ink pairing. This was definitely a favorite. This was a favorite. Hokkaido was a favorite as well, but just in a different pen. Let's see here. I did like the Lost Rose in my kitty ink pot, and I did almost write that dry, but I wouldn't say it was a favorite. I do really like Persephone. I think this is the first time I've loved Persephone. I bought the bottle on a whim because I loved the swatch, and this was way back when this is when it first released. I bought Persephone when it first released, and it's kind of it's been met, but in this medium Benu tessera, it's beautiful. So that was a favorite. Let's see. Yeah, I would say Afternoon Tea, Tono and Limbs was a favorite as well. This was not a favorite. It's getting there. Oh, let's see. See, I'm moving past them fast. Yoakura was a favorite, definitely. I do like Light Mauve, but because it's so similar, I'm not going to say it's a favorite. But I also will say Pink Squirrel. And then Strawberry Chocolate was a favorite of mine as well. And this Benu with Tom Studio Kingfisher or Diamine Arctic Blue. If you don't have either, I would look at the prices. I feel like they're very comparable in price, but yeah, where I already have it, it's not. But yeah, I think those, I would say that honestly, this is my favorite of the month. This one and Captain Hook are my two favorites, which is weird because one's an orange and one's a red. Like not even pink or purple. What is going on? What's happening? But that is it. That's my 30 inks, 30 days. I hope that you found this video fun. I hope that you liked it. Did you see any inks that you haven't tried that you're willing to try now or that you want to try? Do you see any pens that you're interested in? Do you have any questions for me? What's your favorite that I did? Do you have any to share with me? All of that and more. And if you don't want to do any of that, but you want to show me that you watched through this whole video and all of my inky thoughts, leave me a sea creature emoji, because I did start with September. September is near and dear to my heart. My old art page on Instagram, you can see it's still there. I'm not going to share what it is. It's so simple to find, but I also just am like, I moved on from that, but I left it there as kind of like an archive thing. I still have my first September up on there. And so this one here was a callback to that. So yeah, leave me a sea emoji. And anyway, like, comment, subscribe, you know, all the things. And I will have some links down in the descriptions. I have codes at Atlas and Vanessa, and I also have some affiliate links to things on Amazon. And I appreciate anytime you touch a link of mine. It really helps me, and I can keep doing this because of you. And I really love being able to show you inks and play with my pens and help you out finding this, because this hobby is so much fun. I just love it so much. So I hope that you felt that. And yeah, see you in my next video. I hope that it's my Inktober video next, my first Inktober. So yeah, anyway, let me know. Let me know all the things. Let me know your favorite. I'm just gonna keep looking and flipping through this because it is so much fun. And I definitely think that I'm going to continue, not daily, but I'm going to continue and fill this book up with different inks and explorations, and kind of keep it in the same format so I have it all through. And then maybe I'll just go through like one day and just flip it without talking about each page. You can just kind of get a flip through where I'm not talking for the entire time. Anyway, that is it. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great one. Bye.